Hey everyone, and welcome back to A Musician's Life. Yes, we're back at it. I forgot which episode this fucking thing is, but that doesn't matter. It'll be in the title for you. Yes, indeed. Today, we're going to talk about drone instruments. Yeah, sympathetic instruments, if you will. Now, it's no secret, if you know me, which a lot of you probably don't yet, but you're going to get to know me in these videos pretty quickly. Now, it's no secret that I love any instrument that has a sympathetic or drone element to it, right? Meaning that there is a sympathetic or drone kind of layer to what you're playing, like strings or whatever the instrument is. There's something that has a bass note constantly being played underneath what you're playing as a main string or main whatever. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a stringed instrument. It could be any kind of a wind instrument, whatever. So, drone instruments. Now, here I have a good example of a drone instrument. Now, if you do not know, this is called the bagpipes. Yes, I also play bagpipes, believe it or not. Yes, I do. This has a drone element to it. These three pipes here are called the drones, and they're all tuned in octave with each other. So, this here, I'll give you an example of what they sound like. So, now that is being played constantly when you're playing the chanter here, which is actually making the notes, right? So, and this chanter is tuned to B flat, I believe. Let me check. B flat. Yep. So the drones are also at a B flat. So that's one example of a drone instrument. Now, I love bagpipes. I've always loved the sound of them. It gives you a certain feel. Like with any sympathetic drone instrument, it gives you a certain feel when you play. In sound, like it gives you this emotion, that I can't really explain. That's why I love droned instruments so much. Now, moving on, acoustic guitar, right? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, how is that a drone or sympathetic instrument, right? Well, it's all in the tuning, folks. Yes, as long as you tune your guitars to an open tuning. So, it's all octaves, right? That's an open tuning right there. So with this guitar, my acoustic here, it's tuned to open C sharp. Yep, open C sharp. So no matter what note I play, there's always going to be a sympathetic drone being played of a C sharp on the top. So see how it all rings out and it blends nicely? And you can make it work with even like the flats or, sharps, whatever note you're playing. It doesn't all have to make sense when you're playing it. But the main point is that you're having sympathetic and drone strings complementing your playing strings. So, say you're playing these, bottom three strings, right? These are the ones you play. And you let the rest of the top strings, or bottom strings, if you will, because they're lower strings, just ring and resonate. That is sympathetic and drone. so you can let it ring out, and you know, you can also do the same for the bottom. Say you're playing like a, I don't know, see now the top strings here, the higher pitched strings, if you will, are the drones for the bottom strings here. So it all goes either way. Like I said, this guitar, my acoustic is tuned to open C sharp. My 7-string electric, my main guitar, is tuned to open A. I just find that you get, like I mentioned before, you get a certain like emotion when you play it. The sound gives you a nice feeling when you're playing it, and it's also easier to play because it's all in octaves, so it's all the same set. The strings are all in the same setting, so you don't have to stretch your fingers out like this to play a certain chord. It's all fucking right there. For example, I'll show you. See, octaves. This and this, both octaves. So instead of playing it like this, like you would normally do in standard tuning, it's like this. See how easy that is? So you don't have to stretch your fucking fingers out, especially if you're singing and playing guitar. It's a lot easier to play. So another example of a sympathetic drone instrument is the sitar. Now, a lot of you may know a sitar as an Indian instrument. I will be getting one in the future, yes, to add to my drone sympathetic instrument collection, if you will. So a sitar, you know, actually has designated sympathetic strings. And it also has drone strings as well as sympathetic strings. So a sitar is a perfect example of a droned instrument, or a sympathetic instrument. But bagpipes are probably the most well-known droned instrument out there, right? Especially because, you know, they are droned pipes. So you know, there are many examples of drone instruments out there. Many examples. You know, there are offshoots of bagpipes. You know, there are other stringed instruments, woodwinds. Like, just about anything really can be turned into a sympathetic drone instrument. However, the ones I just mentioned are probably the top and most well-known drone sympathetic instruments out there. So if you fancy that kind of sound like I do, I love that sound, just the openness when you're playing, get one of these drone instruments and learn to play it. It's really fun, and you'll feel good playing it as well. So that's it for me, folks. That's all I have time for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, yes, of A Musician's Life. Take care, everyone.